Growing older, Alice has almost completely forgotten about her trips to Wonderland and the Looking Glass. She is going to wed the unattractive Hamish, the son of Lord Escott, at the age of 19, as agreed by her parents. Alice spots the White Rabbit as he makes a proposal to her when they are attending a party that turns out to be a rused engagement party. He wears a camisole and is absorbed on his pocket watch. The girl is led by the rabbit through a hole that leads to the weird world that she has been daydreaming about for a while. But up until almost the very end of the movie, Alice still thinks that everything is a dream. Alice is shown the future of this land not long after she first meets Sonia the mouse, the eccentric twin brothers Trollal and Tralal, and the dodo bird. She is taken to the hookah-smoking caterpillar Absalimus, where she is shown the enchanted scroll of the oraculum, which contains the complete history of Wonderland or dungeon. It claims that Alice will battle the ferocious dragon Jabberwocky on a particular brave day. She has doubts about her abilities, but the others, except from Sonia, who says she is the incorrect Alice, don't want to hear them. However, the Red Queen, one of the two sister queens, who is currently in power, has been planning to meet Alice for a very long time. She is not the only person in the enchanted country who wants to visit her. She directs Jack of Hearts, her main bodyguard, to go pursue Alice. He confronts Alice and the heroes that are with her together with a group of card soldiers and the enormous monster Brandashmig. The White Rabbit and the Dodo Bird are captured by the troops, and Brandashmig nearly captures Alice. However, Sonia saves the day by poking Brandashmig's eye. The Oraculum is taken prisoner by the Jack of Hearts, but Alice, the twins, and Sonia, who abandoned them, manage to escape. The Tsup Bird, another monster working for the Red Queen, soon kidnaps the twin brothers, leaving Alice all alone. She is lost and doesn't know where to go, but eventually the ever-smiling Cheshire Cat, who can vanish at any time, appears in front of her. He questions if this is the same Alice as everyone before him. And Alice responds that there is no agreement. Alice accepts the Cheshire Cat's invitation to see the March Hare and the Mad Hatter and follows him. Valet brings the oraculum to the Red Queen while simultaneously narrating the events of Brave Day in it. The Red Queen orders Valet to track down and kill Alice after realizing that she must kill the Jabberwocky. He embarks on a pursuit while bringing Bayard's hound with him. To this point, Sonia is there, along with the Hatter and the March Hare, and Alice has just arrived at the Mad Tea Party with the Cheshire Cat. They inform her of the Red Queen's true nature, in her quest for dominance. The Bloody Witch, as her adversaries prefer to refer to her, has murdered numerous innocent bystanders with the aid of her bunny Jabberwocky. Alice and her newfound pals are once more pursued. The Hatter aids her in escaping, but he is captured by the Red Queen. Contrary to everyone's expectations, Alice, who has been able to reduce her height to a few inches, rides Bayard, who has chosen to side with her, and sets out to release the Hatter. Alice is now 1 head taller than every citizen of the Enchanted Realm when she changes her height once more in the courtyard of the Red Queen's palace. The Queen introduces herself as AM and wants her to introduce herself. Alice encounters the twins and the captive Hatter at the palace. She discovers that the Jabberwocky can only be defeated with the Vorpal sword and that Jack is in love with such a tall girl. After taking the book from the Red Queen, the White Rabbit discovers that the sharp sword is nearby and is being protected by Brandashmig. As a result of his friendship with Brandashmig, who had his eye gouged out during the earlier altercation with Sonia, Alice manages to take the sharp blade with him. Along with Sonia, who also arrives to liberate the Hatter, she attempts to do so, but Valet enters the room at that precise moment. It comes out that the Queen demands an explanation from Valet after learning of his abuse of AM. AM is put to death after the King persuades the Queen that she is in fault. The Hatter and Sonia defend Alice from Jack's insults after Sonia unintentionally calls her by her name. Alice escapes the castle on Brandashmig with a sharp sword to Memoria, where she meets the White Queen. The Red Queen's sister, analogous to cards and chess, the White Queen extends a kind welcome to her visitor, brings her height back to normal, and offers to take on the Jabberwocky, but Alice is frightened of the future. She encounters Absolemus in the garden, who continues to query Alice about which Alice she believes she is. The Cheshire Cat, who captured the picture of the Hatter and vanished on the gallows just before the axe dropped on his neck, then materialized in the air as a single head. Unexpectedly saves the Hatter and Sonia from certain death. The Queen releases the Tsup-Tsup bird on the liberated Hatter's attempts to encourage the subjects to rise up in revolt against the Bloody Witch. After saving Trowel and Truly, the White Rabbit, and the Bayard family, Cheshire, the Hatter, and Sonia depart to Marmoria. When Alice shows up in her old state, the Hatter is overjoyed to see her. She still thinks that everything is a dream, but now she regrets thinking that everyone is a dream. Even Hatter. The following day, everyone persuades her that she is the only one who can defeat the Jabberwocky. When challenged, Alice flees into the castle garden. She informs the crouching Absalom that she is the same Alice when they cross paths there. This is confirmed by Absalom, who also aids Alice in realizing that she has visited Wonderland before and that this is not a dream. After donning her armor, Alice declares her willingness to take on the Jabberwocky. The movie concludes with a fight between the Queen's summoned Jabberwocky and a chessboard with the armies of the Red and White Queens. This war is obviously taking place at Marmora. Only Alice and Jabberwocky first participate in the battle, but as the latter starts to prevail, the Hatter diverts his attention by burying his sword in his tail. Valet and Tsup-Tsup are sent into battle alongside the Red Queen's entire army while she cries out that this is against the rules. The conflict starts. When Valet and the Hatter engage in combat, Bayard and Sonia kill Tsup-Tsup together while riding Valet. In the end, Valet is defeated by the Hatter. And Jabberwocky is beheaded by Alice. The army of the Red Queen then rejects to serve her. The White Queen receives the crown that the Cheshire Cat had been wearing on her head. After receiving the crown, the latter exiles the Red Queen first. Jack begs for forgiveness but is turned down, so he flees with the Red Queen. The Hatter performs a jig-jig, a dance he's been reserving for the Queen's day in particular. The Jabberwocky's blood that the White Queen gives Alice turns out to be an elixir that will take her back home. She is urged to remain by the Hatter. Although Alice would prefer to, she must respond that she has unfinished business in that realm and makes a commitment to go back. Alice responds that it is difficult to forget him when the Hatter claims she will forget him once more. While she is prepared to work with the father of the unfortunate groom, she refuses to marry Hamish at home, claiming that they are not a pair. Alice carries on her father's trading firm and is driven to make progress. She travels to far-off places on a ship. She sees Absalom, changed into the butterfly she had previously seen in one of her far-off dreams, as she embarks on one of her distant journeys. Alice grins sadly as she greets him and the butterfly flies from her shoulder.